Tell me honestly, are you afraid of the beast that wakes up inside you when the lights go out? Do you feel that your daytime politeness, your upbringing, your goodness are slowly but surely choking your nighttime passion? You want to scream, but a spasm of decency seizes your throat. You are afraid of appearing too depraved, too loud, too animalistic. You came here for a list of dirty words. But listen to me carefully. Actually, your soul is not looking for dirt. It is looking for liberation. Carl Jung called this an encounter with the shadow. What we are used to calling vulgarity is often the only bridge to true, frightening intimacy for the human psyche. We are here to rename dirty to primal. In this video, we will not just list 10 phrases from a cheap novel. We will analyze 10 verbal keys, archetypal codes that blow a man's mind. And do you know why they work? Not because they are vulgar, but because in that moment they are absolutely true. You will understand the mechanics of male arousal. You will learn the sacred task of your inner harlot. And you will see the path to sex that does not just discharge the body, but heals the psyche. Leave your shame at the threshold. You will not need it anymore. We are descending into the dungeons of Eros. Right now, let's talk about silence. Not about that soothing silence after a long day, but about the heavy, cottony silence that hangs in your bedroom, even when your bodies are touching. You know this feeling. The scenario is painfully familiar. The lights are dimmed, the sheets are perfectly clean. You both know what to do. Movements are practiced, touches are calibrated. Technically, everything is correct. But emotionally, you feel as if you are performing a medical procedure or executing a complex dance in which one cannot lose the rhythm. This is what I call the sterile bedroom. Inside you, somewhere in the area of the solar plexus, lava begins to boil. At this moment, you do not want tenderness. You want him to squeeze you harder. You want to shout out something sharp, commanding, maybe even humiliating or submissive. Something real. Words spin on the tongue, sharp, salty, forbidden. But then the internal emergency brake activates. A spasm of upbringing seizes the throat. In the head sounds the voice of the good girl. Ladies do not speak like that. It is vulgar. What will he think? What if he decides that I am spoiled? And you swallow these words. You lock them back up. You remain in your buttoned-up soul. And instead of a supernova explosion that could fuse you together, there is simply a discharge. A polite, neat finale. You lie side by side, but between you is a glass wall of good manners. Your politeness has become the jailer of your eros. Listen to me very carefully now. If you recognized yourself in this description, exhale. You are okay. Your desire for vulgarity, your craving for dirty words, is not a sign of your corruption. It is not a perversion. It is a desperate, healthy cry of your instinct for help. It is your psyche trying to save you from suffocation. We live in a world of hyper-control. By day, you are a responsible employee, a caring mother, an ideal friend. You wear a mask that Jung called the persona. It is smooth, social, safe. But the psyche is a scale. It always strives for balance. And the more sterile, the higher, and more spiritual your daytime life, the more wild, earthly, and dirty the compensation at night must be. This is a law of nature. Carl Jung expressed it frighteningly accurately. No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. Think about this. Your fantasies, your dirty words, are those very roots. They must go into the dark, moist, fertile soil of the unconscious. Without this dirt, the tree of your love will dry up, become plastic. The desire to utter a forbidden word is an attempt by your soul to ground itself, to return blood, flesh, and life to the relationship. It is not dirt. It is a cure for lifelessness. Here we approach the main paradox of eroticism. Get ready. This may turn your perception upside down. In ordinary life, words serve to convey information. Pass the salt, buy bread, I will be late at work. But in the space of sex, words change their nature. They cease to be information. They become spells. They become an act of transformation. Why do exactly dirty taboo words possess such power? because they are dynamite laid under the wall separating two lonelinesses. When you whisper or scream what is considered unacceptable in decent society, you do something more than just arouse your partner. You tell him, "I trust you so much that I am ready to show you my darkness. I take off before you not only my dress, I take off my human mask." This is an act of ultimate vulnerability. At the moment when you utter the forbidden, you do not defile intimacy. On the contrary, you sanctify it with absolute, naked truth. You destroy the barrier of I and you, merging into a single, primal we. Dirt becomes gold. Vulgarity becomes a prayer of the body. But there is a trap here, and thousands of women fall into it, having read enough advice in glossy magazines. You can learn by heart 10 of the most depraved phrases. You can rehearse them before the mirror. But if you utter them while remaining a good girl inside, if your voice trembles from shame and not from passion, the magic will not work. It will sound false, like bad acting in a cheap theater. The man will feel not arousal, but awkwardness. Words are just a shell. For them to sound like thunder, for them to really blow the roof off him and liberate you, they must come from the right place. Not from the head, not from memory, but from the dark depths of your belly. We must find the source of this voice. We must understand who inside you wants to speak these words. And for this, we will have to get acquainted with the one whom you have hidden for so long in the basement of your subconscious. Let's start with what does not work. How many times have you seen articles with headlines like 10 phrases that will drive him crazy or Secret Dictionary of a Geisha? The internet is overflowing with scripts. It seems that it is enough just to learn the right text, utter it at the right moment, and magic will happen by itself. This is a lie, and this is a dangerous lie. Imagine a situation. You read advice that rudeness arouses a man, and so in a moment of intimacy, you, having gathered all your will into a fist, utter this magical phrase, but you do it with the same voice with which you order coffee or scold a child for unlearned lessons. Your body is tense, eyes dart around expecting a reaction, and the intonation sounds questioning. Did I say it right? Is this what you wanted? What happens at this moment? Instead of an explosion of passion, an awkward pause arises. The man feels the falseness. He hears the words of a porn star, but feels the energy of a school teacher. This causes cognitive dissonance. At best, it will cause him bewilderment. At worst, laughter. And laughter is the killer of an erection. The problem is not in your vocabulary. The problem is not that you do not know the right words. The problem is in authorship. Who utters these words? Your social mask, your persona, which is used to being good, correct, and convenient? The persona does not know how to have sex. The persona only knows how to portray sex. You cannot simulate passion reading from the prompter of your fear. While you are trying to apply a technique, remaining within the bounds of decency, you are like a person who tries to swim not wanting to wet their clothes. It looks ridiculous and ineffective. The man does not need your memorized phrases. He needs your permission to be bad. He needs to feel that words fly out of you not because you decided so with your head, but because you can no longer hold them back. If memorized phrases are an attempt to cheat the system, then the other extreme is total silence. And this is a much deeper problem. Many women are silent in bed not because they have nothing to say. Oh, believe me, inside their heads a continuous monologue is going on. Hurricanes rage there, scripts are written there that would make the Marquis de Sade blush, but not a sound breaks out except for duty moans. This silence is not emptiness, it is a symptom. I call it the frozen volcano syndrome. Outside, ice. Outside, control. Outside, an ideal statue. But inside, under the thickness of this ice, the pressure of magma grows with every second. And the stronger the pressure, the more energy you spend to keep this lid closed. You think you are controlling the situation? No. You are controlling your fear. Fear of what? Fear of losing control. In ordinary life, control is your best friend. It helps you build a career, raise children, drive a car, plan a budget. Your ego adores control. It is built on predictability. But sex is the territory of chaos. Eros hates control. Eros demands surrender. When you are silent, when you filter every word, you are essentially saying to your body and partner, I am not fully here. I am observing. I am evaluating. I am holding the defense. Silence or the use of safe, vanilla phrases, I feel so good, you are so strong, is a way to stay safe. It is a way not to let the shadow out because you are afraid. What if I start saying what I really think, I won't be able to stop? What if I turn into someone I myself will be scared of? What if I destroy my life? This fear is understandable, but the price for this safety is dead mechanical sex. You save face but lose the soul of the process. You remain a lady, but your inner wild woman howls in a cage, dying of hunger, and the man feels it. He feels that he is making love to a mannequin inside which a living woman is locked. And now I want us to pause. Right now. Stop. Exhale. I want to ask you a question which you must answer only to yourself, but answer extremely honestly. Remember the last time you had sex, or a time when passion was at its peak. Remember that very moment, a second before orgasm, or at the moment of deepest penetration. Remember that thought that flashed like lightning in your head, that phrase that lit up like a neon sign in your consciousness. You wanted to say it. It was already on the tip of the tongue. Your body was screaming it, but you remained silent. You bit your lip. You replaced that word with a safe moan. What was that word? Remember its taste. Was it rude, humiliating, commanding? Maybe you wanted to order him, "Don't you dare stop, son of a bitch." Or conversely, you wanted to beg, "Use me, I am your thing." Or you wanted to call your genitals that very word which in decent society is written on fences and not spoken aloud. Do not turn away from this memory. Look at it. What feeling did this word carry? Power? Submission? Animal delight? Feel how much energy was locked in this unspoken sound. It is not just a word. It was a clot of pure, nuclear energy which you extinguished with your internal fire extinguisher. Why did you get scared? Because this word was not uttered by you, that you whom colleagues and friends know. This word was uttered by someone else inside you, someone whom you are afraid of, someone who seems to you dangerous, dirty, uncontrollable. But who is she? Carl Gustav Jung, the great Swiss psychiatrist, gave us a map to find the answer. He said that the female soul is not a monolith. It is a complex crystal with many facets. In his work on psychological types and the development of the anima, the female principle, Jung and his followers identified 4 stages, 4 faces of the eternal feminine. The first is Eve. This is the woman mother, woman earth, instinctive, giving life. The second is Mary. This is the woman saint, woman morality, keeper of the hearth and virtue. The fourth, highest stage is Sophia, woman wisdom, spiritual guide. But there is a third stage, the most dangerous, the most misunderstood, and the most repressed in our culture. It is Helen, Helen of Troy, the one because of whom wars begin and empires crumble. This is the archetype of the hetera, the lover, the harlot. In each of you they all live. But look at your life. Society taught you to be a good Eve, to take care of children and husband. The church and upbringing taught you to be Mary, to be modest, pure, patient. Books and education pull you towards Sophia, to be smart and understanding. But where is Helen? Where is your inner harlot? We locked her in the basement. We declared her persona non grata. We called her a whore and decided that a decent woman has no path with her. But here is the tragedy. It is Helen who holds the keys to Eros. Mary does not know how to have passionate sex. She only knows how to endure or give tenderness. Sophia is too busy with reflections. Eve is too busy with care. Only Helen, only your inner harlot knows the language of passion. Only she knows how to play, seduce, provoke, and speak those very dirty words. When you try to be a passionate lover while remaining in Mary or Sophia mode, you are doomed to failure. You are trying to hammer a nail with a violin. To return passion, you do not need new poses. You need to go down to the basement and release Helen. Inside you lives an ancient woman who knows no shame, because she is older than morality, and it is her voice your man wants to hear. Now that we know who should speak, your inner Helen, let's analyze why it works. Why are a few rude sounds capable of causing such a powerful response in a man, as if you pressed on a raw nerve? The answer lies in one of the most fundamental laws of the psyche discovered by Jung. He called it enantiodromia. Translated from Greek, it means running counter to. The essence of this law is simple and ruthless. Any extreme sooner or later degenerates into its opposite to restore balance. Look at us. We live in a sterile world. We are obsessed with hygiene, political correctness, social ratings, and flawless profiles in social networks. We spend a colossal amount of energy to be clean, bright, and correct. But the psyche is a closed system. Energy does not disappear anywhere. And according to the law of enantiodromia, the higher and cleaner our conscious attitude by day, the more dirty, animal, and archaic the unconscious compensation at night must be. Sex is the only legal space for this compensation. This is the place where enantiodromia must happen, where light must meet darkness, where order must be destroyed by chaos. When you say a dirty phrase in bed, you perform a ritual. These are not just words. This is a signal for the persona to stand down. At this moment, you say to the man, "Look, I take off my armor of virtue. I cease to be a lady, mom, professional. I become simply a female. I become flesh." A man's mind is blown not by the acoustic sound of a swear word. He is aroused not by the vocabulary. He is aroused by the contrast. He is aroused by the fact that the woman whom he respects, values, and perhaps is even a little afraid of in social life, suddenly trusts him so much that she allows herself to be low. This is an act of ultimate trust. You let him into your backstage. You show him your shadow. For a man, this is a signal. She is real. She is alive. She is not a porcelain doll that will break if I am rude to her. She is fire. Dirt in this context is not the absence of purity. It is the presence of life in its primordial, chaotic form. It is the prima materia of alchemists, the primary matter from which the philosopher's stone is born. Without this dirt, without this grounding, sex remains airy, platonic, devoid of that gravity which pulls bodies to each other. Vulgar words are anchors that keep your balloon of spirituality from flying away into the cold stratosphere of indifference. They return you to earth, into the body, into the here and now. Let me tell you the story of one woman. Let's call her Anna. This story may seem frighteningly familiar to you. Anna was the embodiment of the ideal wife. Beautiful, educated, a flawless hostess. Her house always shone with cleanliness, the children were well groomed, and her career was going uphill. She was a perfect Mary. But in the bedroom reigned eternal winter. Her marriage with her husband, let's call him Mark, turned into a neighborhood. Sex was regular, on Saturdays before sleep. It was tender, neat, and deadly boring. Mark was careful with her, like with a crystal vase. Anna was polite with him, like with a business partner. Inside, Anna grew a dull irritation. She wanted him to stop being so correct. She wanted rudeness. She wanted to be taken, not made love to. But she was silent. She was afraid to destroy the image of a lady. One evening after another correct Saturday, something broke inside her. She stood in the bathroom in front of the mirror, washing off makeup, and looked into her eyes. She saw there the longing of a wild beast in a cage. She returned to the bedroom. Mark was already almost asleep. Anna sat on the edge of the bed. Her heart was pounding so that it echoed in her ears. She knew, now or never. She leaned to his ear. Her lips trembled, and instead of the usual, "Good night, honey," she whispered a phrase she had carried in her head for years. Dirty, commanding, absolutely unacceptable for Anna from the parent committee. She called him what a man is called only in the cheapest porn movies and demanded he do to her what is not spoken of aloud. The word hung in the air, heavy, hot, and dense. It seemed it physically changed the pressure in the room. For a second hung a ringing silence. Anna squeezed her eyes shut, expecting condemnation, expecting the question, "Are you drunk?" But instead she felt his hand, which had been lying relaxedly on the blanket, clench into a fist. She heard his breathing change sharply. It became heavy, ragged. Mark opened his eyes. There was no sleep in them. There was not a trace of that polite husband she had known for 10 years. There was hunger in them. He did not say a word. He simply grabbed her and pulled her to him with such force she did not expect from him. That night, their polite marriage ceased to exist. It was not sex. It was a battle. It was a collision of two hungry shadows that finally received permission to come out into the light. In the morning, they looked at each other differently. The barrier collapsed. Anna ceased to be porcelain for him. She became alive. And that dirty phrase became the key that opened the door rusted from many years of decency. Anna's story is not a movie script. It is a mirror. Look into it carefully. You are Anna. Perhaps your husband is not as restrained as Mark. Perhaps you are not as perfect in everyday life. But this invisible corset, you feel its pressure every day, don't you? This corset of decency that you tighten every morning before leaving the house. You tighten it when you smile at the boss you hate. You tighten it when you remain silent in response to an offensive joke so as not to spoil the atmosphere. You tighten it when you lie in bed and think, just don't do anything weird. We all wear this corset. It is sewn from the expectations of our parents, from school rules, from the fear of being rejected, and it chokes you. It cuts off the oxygen to your femininity. You think that dirty words are just swear words? No. In the context of your life, these words are scissors. This is the only thing that can cut the lacing of this corset. When Anna uttered that phrase, she not only aroused her husband, she saved herself. She let off steam from the boiler that was ready to explode. Your fantasies, which you so diligently drive away before sleep, your dreams, which you are ashamed to tell your friends about, are not random noise. They are not the garbage of your brain. They are the blueprints of your integrity. It is your soul screaming to you, look at me, I am here. I want to live. I want not only to cook dinners and submit reports. I want to be desired. I want to be dangerous. I want to be alive. Vulgar phrases are simply tools. They are hammers with which we break the armored glass of alienation. And you have every right to take this hammer in your hands, not to destroy the relationship, but to break through to each other for real. But which hammer exactly do you need? After all, dirt varies. The shadow is many-faced, and what arouses one woman and her man may repel another. To find your words, you must understand who exactly inside you wants to speak. I want you to look inside yourself again right now. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine a long corridor with many doors. Behind one of them is locked, that other you. Approach this door. Listen. Who is there? Is it the imperious queen? Maybe your shadow is a thirst for power? In life, you are soft, yielding, led. But there, behind the door, lives an Amazon who wants to command. She wants to order the man. She wants to see his submissiveness. She wants to say, on your knees, look at me. Don't dare move without my permission. Your dirty words are orders, or is it the submissive slave? Maybe in life you are an iron lady, a director, the head of the family on whom everything rests. You are tired of responsibility, and your shadow craves total surrender. She wants to be a thing. She wants to be used. She wants to say, I am all yours. Do with me what you want. I belong to you. Your words are words of capitulation, or maybe it is a wild beast. She does not want power and does not want submission. She wants meat. She wants pure instinct. She wants to growl, bite, and call things by their names without euphemisms. She wants to say, I want you inside, now, deep. Your words are words of hunger. Or is it the cold observer, the one who wants to voice every action, turning sex into a pornographic story in real time? Who among them is scratching at your door? Which archetype do you starve? Do not be afraid of this knowledge. To admit this means to take the first step towards freedom. I ask you now to do something bold. Go down to the comments. This is an anonymous space, our safe circle. Write, my shadow is queen, slave, beast, or someone else. Which archetype do you lock in the dungeon? Share this. You will see that you are not alone. You will see hundreds of other women who also carry keys to their dungeons in their pocket, afraid to use them. Do it. Legalize her. Give her a name. Before we open this Pandora's box, we must establish one rule. This is a safety rule. Jung used the Greek word temenos, a sacred, enclosed space where one can meet with gods and demons. Your bedroom is your temenos. Remember, the laws of the outside world do not apply here. Here there is no good and bad. Here there is no decent and shameful. Here there is only one law, the law of consent and play. Everything that happens between two adults by mutual consent is sacred, even if from the outside it seems dirty, especially if it seems dirty. Leave your inner critic at the door. In temenos, there is no place for him. And now let's move on to the dictionary of your shadow. Here are 10 keys, 10 categories of phrases that hack the male psyche. We will divide them by archetypes so you can choose your weapon. Phrases of power. Archetype of the Queen, Jatur, Amazon. Psychological mechanics. Many think that men only want to dominate. This is a myth. The male psyche craves a meeting with equal strength. When you take power, you release him from the responsibility to lead. You turn on his ancient instinct of serving the goddess. Phrase no one, soft. Look at me. Don't close your eyes. This is a demand for contact. You do not allow him to escape into his fantasies. You force him to be here. With you, it hypnotizes. Phrase no to, hard. Don't dare stop. Don't dare come without my permission. This is pure power. You control his pleasure. You hold him at the edge of the abyss. For a man, it is a torturous and sweet delight to know that his orgasm is in your hands. Phrases of surrender, archetype of the maiden, victim. Psychological mechanics. This is the polar opposite. Here you give him the role of absolute conqueror, hero, alpha. In a world where a man is constantly limited by laws and norms, you give him space for total expansion. Phrase no 3, soft. I am all your, I belong to you. These words close the gestalt of male possessiveness. It is balm for his ego. Phrase no 4, hard. Do whatever you want with me, use me. Careful, this is a nuclear button. When you say use me, you are not showing weakness. You are showing the highest form of trust. You say, I know that you will not harm me, even if you are a beast. It turns him into a god. Phrases of appropriation, archetype of the Mother Earth. Psychological mechanics. This is the voice of the instinct of reproduction, the voice of the earth that consumes the seed. It is about deep acceptance. A man is often afraid that he is invading, that he can cause pain. These phrases remove this fear. Phrase no, soft. I want you inside, deeper. A simple but powerful permission for penetration. Phrase no 6, hard. Fill me, flood me. This is an archaic call. It is a biological truth from which the man's neocortex shuts down and the reptilian brain turns on. He feels like the source of life. Phrases of the mirror, archetype of the lover. Psychological mechanics. The essence of these phrases is in calling things by their names. This is grounding. We are used to using euphemisms, down there, flower. But euphemisms kill erotica. Direct naming of organs and actions creates an effect of pornographic reality. Phrase no 7, descriptive. I like how your dick enters me. Note, not you, but your dick. You objectify his manhood, make it a separate hero. This incredibly flatters male narcissism. Phrase no 8, evaluative. You are so huge and you are so hard. Yes, it is a cliche, but it works. A man needs confirmation of his physical competence here and now. Praises of taboo, shadow, psychological mechanics. And finally, heavy artillery, the use of obscene, profane vocabulary. Why does it work? Because swearing is the language of aggression and violation of prohibitions. Sex and aggression live in neighboring zones of the brain. Adding a drop of aggression through a word, you enhance sexual arousal. Phrase no 9, provocation. Fuck me like a whore. This is role play in one phrase. You allow him to throw off the mask of a gentleman and release his inner beast. Phrase no 10, dirty compliment. F, king awesome. This is just F, king good. When a good girl swears from pleasure, the man understands. I brought her to a state where culture flew off. I got to her animal essence. This is his victory. I know what you are thinking right now. God, I can never say that. My tongue won't move. I will die of shame. This is a normal reaction. If you have ridden a bicycle all your life, sitting at the helm of a fighter jet is scary. Therefore, do not rush to extremes immediately. No need tonight, as soon as the husband crosses the threshold, to scream phrase no 9 in his face. It will be a shock and not necessarily a pleasant one. Use the technique I call the thermometer. Raise the temperature gradually. Step 1. Breath and sound. Before speaking words, learn to sound. Stop holding back moans. Allow breathing to become loud, heavy animal. This is already a signal. I am losing control. Step 2. Voicing sensations, phrases of the mirror. Start with the safest. Just say what you feel. I feel so good. I like how you touch me. Your hands are so hot. This is not vulgar. This is honest. This accustoms your voice to sound during sex. Step 3. Half words and whisper. When passion builds up, try whispering something bolder right into his ear. A whisper is a genius tool. It hides the tremor in the voice. It creates intimacy. Whisper, I want you. Then, take me. Feel the reaction. If he responds, if his body tenses, you are on the right track. Step 4. Explosion. And only when you feel that you are both already in the flow, that the mind is turned off, allow that very dirty word to fly out. Let it burst out itself, like a cork from a champagne bottle. Do not plan it. Just allow it to happen. And most importantly, stop judging yourself for these desires. In medieval alchemy, there was a principle. In stercor invenitur. Translated from Latin, this means, in manure, in dirt, it will be found. What is found? Gold, the philosopher's stone, the highest value. Alchemists knew what we have forgotten. The most precious treasures of our soul are hidden not where it is light and clean. They are hidden where it is dark, scary, and dirty, in our shadow. Your shameful fantasies, your desire to be rude or submissive, your craving for swear words, are not garbage. This is your prima materia, the primary matter from which your life force is forged. A woman who denies her shadow is flat, like a sheet of paper. She can be sweet, convenient, correct, but there is no magnetism in her. A woman who has accepted her shadow, who has made friends with her inner harlot, acquires incredible power. This is power not over a man. This is power over oneself. When you accept your dirt, you become whole. You stop wasting energy on pretending to be someone else. You become a monolith. Such a woman shines. She attracts. She scares and delights at the same time. Your shame is just a guard, a dragon guarding the cave with treasures. Do not run from him. Make friends with him. Tell him, I see you, but I am going inside. And when you enter this cave, when you allow yourself to utter these forbidden words, you will find there not debauchery. You will find there your lost power. We have come a long way in this hour. We started with a search for dirty words and arrived at a search for oneself. And now you understand, these 10 phrases, these categories, these archetypes are not just vocabulary. It is not just a way to diversify a Saturday evening. These are spells, ancient, powerful spells destroying the most terrible curse of modern man, the curse of loneliness. Sex is not the friction of bodies. It is a conversation of souls in a language for which we have no words in ordinary life. And when you allow yourself to be bad, dirty, vulgar, you perform an act of the greatest mercy towards your man and towards yourself. You give him permission. When you take off the lady mask, he gets the right to take off the knight armor. When you scream with passion, you drown out the voice of his inner critic, who whispers to him about inadequacy. When you demand or submit, you return balance to this world, which we lost in offices and supermarkets. You return Eros to his rightful throne. But the magic does not end when you leave the bedroom. And this is perhaps Jung's most important secret. Libido is not just sexual energy. It is life energy in general. It is fuel for everything. Imagine a woman who has integrated her shadow, a woman who has made friends with her inner harlot in Amazon. Do you think her life outside of bed will change? Oh yes, radically. She who knows how to ask for what she wants in a moment of highest vulnerability will be able to ask for a salary increase looking into the boss's eyes. She who knows how to accept her aggression and turn it into passion will be able to defend her boundaries in a dispute with relatives without feeling guilt. She who knows the taste of power and the taste of surrender becomes incredibly attractive in creativity, in business, in friendship. Magnetism appears in her. People will look at you and not understand what has changed. You seem to be the same hairstyle, the same clothes. But in your eyes will appear that special, calm fire that only those who know their secrets and are not afraid of them have. You will become dangerous in the best sense of the word. You will become alive. The energy that you previously spent on suppressing your dirt will now be released for the creation of your empire. Perhaps listening to this now, you feel a strange excitement, as if someone finally voiced what you always knew, but were afraid to formulate. I want you to remember this moment. You are not a pervert. You are not a spoiled woman. You are a seeker. You are not looking for dirt. You are looking for wholeness. You are looking for that state where above and below, spirit and flesh, light and shadow merge in a single dance. All this shame that has been instilled in you for years is a lie. Your body is a temple, and in this temple the altar is located not only in the heart, but also in the loins. Welcome home, to your body, to your truth, to your wild, unbridled, beautiful nature. We have reached the line. The internet is full of life hacks, quick tips, and superficial recipes for happiness. This is noise, but if you watch this video to the end, it means you are not looking for noise. You are looking for silence and depth. This channel is not for everyone. We are building a bridge here, a bridge to the unconscious. We talk about Jung, about archetypes, about dreams, and about how to heal the soul in a world that has lost its soul. We do not give simple answers. We give keys, but it is up to you to open the door. If you are ready to stop being a tourist in your life and become the mistress, if you are ready to explore not only the bright living rooms, but also the dark basements of your psyche, if you are not afraid to look in the mirror and see there not only the persona, but also the shadow, make your choice now. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell. This is not just a click, it is your signal to the universe. I am ready to go deeper. Write your archetype in the comments. Take your phrases, go to your man, and live. And when the lights go out next time, do not be afraid of your darkness. For only in the darkness can one see the stars. See you in the deep.